All right, thank you, Lars.
Thank you, everybody. Yeah, amazing panels. You've seen our team in action, yeah, Otman and Zian, and how they act together. So they're fun, really fun. Yeah, and including Timo as well. Yeah, so this is how we work every day. This is how they work at night as well. So this is how we execute, and I believe we have a great way forward. Thank you very much, team. Okay, we're coming to the closing keynote now. Oh, it's not a keynote, it's a key discussion in the end. It's Google Cloud, Amrik, and our own, very own Anoud Technologies, Shuja. Please join us here on board. They will be addressing innovation culture, and how this actually can help incumbents, corporates, to catch up with startups. I believe you have shown some areas, so please go ahead.
Perfect. Thank you so much. First of all, it's glad to see that you're all still here, and let's see if we can, finish this in time. But we'll take maybe 5-10 extra minutes from you. So I'll start off with introducing myself. So my name is Amrik Singh, and I'm a customer engineer at Google, and I look after our application modernization portfolio. And I relocated to Qatar about a year ago. When we started building out our cloud team here. So as most of you will know, we will be opening up a region very soon, actually, in the country, which will consist of 3 data centers. So the team here is ready to support that. And I will let you introduce yourself.
Thank you, Amrik. It's great being here. So my name, as you could see behind, is Shuja Noorani. I've been with QIC Group now for just over 8 years in strategy and heading strategy and corporate development. But over the past couple of years, I've been focused as Chief Marketing Officer in a startup company called Anoud Technologies. At Anoud Technologies, our main selling our product offering is an end-to-end insurance IT platform, also called Anoud Plus. And this platform has helped QIC, our parent group QIC, really differentiate and digitize its business operations over many years. But since Anoud was established about 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years ago, we've rolled out Anoud Plus. We're actively marketing Anoud Plus to insurance companies, not just in the Middle East region, but across the world. And we've achieved great successes. We have clients in the Americas, in Europe, and also in GCC region, third-party clients unrelated to QIC. So Anoud Plus, I'm a chief marketing officer, so I'm going to flog that a bit. Anoud Plus is an end-to-end IT platform. Unlike all the policy admin systems available in the market, it has full capabilities, including CRM and analytics, finance. So it's been developed by a very diverse insurance company which operates across the world to address the requirements of the insurance industry. So that's a little bit of a long-winded background of myself and of Anoud Technologies. Biggest question for today for this particular chat is why, Amrik, do you think that companies, that you deal with, companies across all the different industries, including the insurance industries, what's the need for them to innovate, to remain competitive, to address, competition?
Sure. And I think with that question, I'd like to take a step back, right? So what are these incumbents are competing with, right? So they're not only competing with companies like themselves, but also startups, right? As we know, right? And if you take a look at, the startups, what has, evolved in the market, which has led, a lot of startups to join the businesses and the organizations, right? And that is really the barriers to entry. So if I take a look at, for example, if someone had an idea that they wanted to launch maybe 20 years ago, there was a lot of barriers that they had to go through. For example, you have to find the skill sets, and then where do you deploy the applications or launch the applications. And eventually, I think with the launch of public cloud, it has really made life easier for new startups or even anyone who has an idea and the skill sets to develop something to launch a product in the market. So that's one. And if you compare that, and again, obviously with this, startups are nimble, right? They can pivot very quickly based on what the customers require. If we compare that to the traditional organizations, there are a lot of processes that you would have to go through in order to roll something out or execute on a new idea, right? So I think that plays a key part in the whole discussion. And certainly from technology perspective, the adoption of technology slows down at those organizations, right? And again, if you look at the startups, what are the startups doing? Typically what they do is they remove friction, right, from the customer accessing your service. So you look at Uber, for example, or even Google, right? So Google wasn't the first search engine, but it removed the friction from the user and the information, right? So what we have to then think about is, these organizations coming on board and making things like the onboarding process for your customers much simpler, right? So I have an insurance organization. I want to make sure that when I offer a product to my users, they can onboard or, for example, get quotes much simpler. When they fill in a form, they don't have to write everything down. They can provide their ID or passport, and we can, get the information from those documents and pre-populate everything for the users. Right? And with that, you move on to the entire customer lifecycle. How do you keep that customer? What are the key trends that you see which would actually, make the customer move away from you, right? So putting everything together, I think there's a lot that you can do in terms of AI ML, which will enable you to keep your customer happier longer with yourself, right? So I think there are a lot of things that the incumbents actually can do in that space. Now, back to you. So there are certain, pain points in the industry, right? Yeah. What do you think are the key pain points when it comes to the insurers in particular, and how can innovation solve these pain points?
Okay, so the insurance industry is facing a lot of challenges, and I'll club these challenges across different categories. So on one hand, you have emerging competition, InsurTech and digitized, innovative insurance companies. And in this part of the world, it's the insurance industry is fragmented, and you really have the need to differentiate yourself. Secondly, with the advances in the technological landscape, something that's been accelerated in the past couple of years during the COVID pandemic, there's a change in customer behavior, change in customer expectations, doing things digitally and online. And finally, in terms of other stakeholders, whether it's shareholders expecting better return on equity, improved profitability, efficiency, whether it's regulators expecting better, reports, digital reports, and more real-time, data from their regulated companies. Insurance companies, to a very large degree, are not well placed to address these challenges. Insurance companies have been technologically, to a large degree, technologically challenged. I spoke to, an insurance CEO of a mid-sized company in the UAE, and they're using insurance platforms, which are more than 20 years old, 25 years old, from the previous millennium. And these systems are frankly not well placed to address these challenges. And what insurance companies really need to do is to transform themselves, to use technology as an enabler to transform themselves, make themselves more efficient, their processes, workflows, to have a data-driven, fact-driven mindset, to really to have a collaborative mindset and partners. So it doesn't necessarily need to mean that for all insurance companies, there's not one form of digital transformation. You could either have a complete transformation or you could do it in a piecemeal way. For example, in collaboration, Anoud Technologies in collaboration with Lars and his team, DVP, we've deployed Apple Wallet, one of your competitors, for QLM, which is life and medical company. So all QLM members have their policies enabled in Apple Wallet. So this is just a very small piecemeal example of how you can be much more customer focused, and so it's ultimately about transforming yourself technologically, having a future-ready mindset which is using technology as an enabler. But ultimately, Amrik, technology is not a panacea. It's not like you buy these fancy systems and IT systems and snap your fingers and lo and behold, everything's going to work. It's going to require a lot more than just deploying the latest technology. So I was wondering, what are your thoughts on the role of culture and corporate culture and mindset in transformation and innovation?
Sure. I think culture has a lot to do with anything that you do at an organization, and especially if you take a look at the traditional people, process, and technology. Technology is actually the easiest part. Changing people's mindset and the culture within the organization is the most difficult. So what I am familiar with is obviously the culture at Google, and as you know, Google have been pioneers in certain technologies that we launched, and it's because we've got that. The reason behind that is the culture that Google has. How do we nurture this technology internally at Google, right? And we believe this culture is based on main, three key pillars. So it's the people brought in together with environments, and then thirdly, the technology itself, right? How do we do this is that we have certain, programs within Google. So for example, I will go through a few. We don't have the time to go through all of the programs that we have, but things like, 10x thinking. So what would you do if you didn't have the fear of failure, right? A lot of the times what we do is we have an idea, we don't execute on that idea just because we may fail, right? So it's this type of fear removal that we have built into the culture of the organization. There's also 20% projects, right? Every Googler can spend 20% of the time working on anything other than their day job, right? Again, these type of things really nurture the culture which brings technology and innovation to any organization. And lastly, there are other couple of things like making open areas. You've all probably heard of Google's micro kitchens and the food that is available. The reason for that is for people to bring together various teams across Google and have these unplanned conversations, right? Because we jump on a meeting or a virtual meeting today, the conversation is planned. We will talk about X, Y, Z, and that's it, nothing outside of that. What really brings innovation is all of these unplanned conversations that we have while grabbing coffee and so on and so forth, right? And then the other thing I really look at is transparency, right? So at Google, we have every week a meeting called TGIF, which is Thursday Googler's Information Forum. So for example, a few hours ago, every Googler in every single office would have joined that with food and beverages, being available, and you discuss, things that are happening in various teams, or what are the behind the scenes when it comes to, all the Google technologies. So I think those combined together are really, some of the things that I believe would bring the best out of when it comes to, innovation and technology in any organization. In terms of, your experience, you've obviously worked with a lot of organizations. again, technology is very simple for someone to implement,
Yeah.
right? How do you see these organizations embracing the change at a much wider scope rather than just the technology itself?
So that's a very important question. And so when we deliver a transformation and we're deploying our systems, it's not just deploying it from a technological standpoint. It's about change management. It's about revisiting what you're doing right now and how the company could employ best practices, new ways of working, new workflows, automations, to improve efficiencies, to reduce errors, having a data-first, fact-based, analytics-first mentality. And, ultimately, it's all about collaboration, whether it's within the organization or outside the organization. One of the great things about a forum like this is meeting people, networking, seeing how you can work together. And at Anoud Technologies, we're all about partnerships. We've got really close partnership with Swiss Re. We've got their platforms well integrated with our platform, their solutions, world-class solutions. We've worked with other tech companies. We're looking forward to working very closely with Google on cloud and other initiatives. So it's partnerships with internal and external, partnerships with your brokers, having an integrated omni-channel experience, working with the likes of Yalla Compare. I can see Jonathan out there smiling, and it's how you can sort of make it a better customer experience, improve. It's such a broad topic, transformation, and culture and mindset and sort of ushering people to embrace change is so critical in a successful digital transformation.
Brilliant. And I think also in terms of these organizations embracing this change, what do you see, or where do you see, cloud or technologies which affect both the startups in terms of implementing these solutions and the adoption of cloud within these organizations? Do you see a big potential, or are there any barriers or large barriers which may stop these organizations adopting?
I think cloud is the future. Historically, insurance companies, as it relates to IT, have relied on-premises systems and servers and old arcane servers. And unfortunately, with these, they're not very scalable, and they don't allow companies to accelerate the innovation, introduce new sort of products, and embrace efficiencies in a nimble and a rapid way. So cloud is the way of the future, and we're embracing cloud in a big way. In terms of the future, we're looking to completely transform our platform, Anoud Plus, from a it's reliant currently on a single public cloud to completely cloud native, cloud agnostic, database agnostic, and it's going to be very scalable. It will address the requirements. Cloud and public cloud addresses the requirements of whether you're a small, medium, or a really, really large, massive insurance company operating across different territories. So I think the challenges to cloud from our perspective is that there are some regulatory restrictions in some jurisdictions where they need data to be within their country, like customer data and medical data to be present in a cloud within their specific geography. And unfortunately, it's fast rolling out, but you don't have all the cloud platforms across all our target geographies, and we're hoping that Google helps us change that, and they've been very aggressive, if I'm not mistaken, Amrik, in expanding your cloud servers across all the different regions.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you so much, Shuja, and thanks everyone for sticking around. I think we better wrap it up and join everyone for networking, and thank you so much again.
Thank you all.
Thank you. Thanks. I like this. Thank you.